Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 17. Now, before we get into the video, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start off the episode with Andre on the phone. He's texting he's texting Ted, and he's talking about, they're talking about the football game, because that's a thing that they do. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, I think it was Thanksgiving. They went to the Thanksgiving game because that's what his dad, Andre's dad, and Ted used to do. So they went to the Thanksgiving game. So they're talking about the Super Bowl, and he's just like, "Oh my goodness, I don't even know. I haven't even been paying attention. I don't even know who's in it." And Hayley, walks up, and she's trying to talk to him or whatever, and he's just like, "Yeah, I don't really have nothing, I don't have nothing to say. This is my cue to leave." And she was just like, "No, I just want company." Da 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 da. She starts to talk about how life is being an orphan, and um, how they like basically have that in common or whatever. And she's just like, I always wanted I want a kid with Bill so bad. I just want to have a family. And he's just like, "So that's how you justify breaking up a family?" And she was just like, um "You should be thanking me, because if I didn't, then you wouldn't be with Danny." And he was just like, "Yeah, she wouldn't have went through the hell that you and Bill put her through." And Haley was just like, "Well, she gave as good as she got." And it's just like, "Ma'am, what do you mean she gave as good as she got? You broke up her family." Like, of course she was going to give as good as she got. Like, I don't get this thing with people trying to play the victim when they do trifling stuff. Like, you was trifling for messing with this woman's husband, not even man, her husband. You was trifling for messing with your best friend's father. And then you're trying to make it seem like Danny put you through something. You lucky she didn't put you in a grave. Like, man, what do you mean she gave as good as she got? You what? Child. So what's it called? Andre was just like, he was like, "Okay, so this is the real reason why you came to me. You came and sat down with me and tried to give this orphan, you tried to play the orphan card. And I've already told you already that I don't want to play this game. I don't want to be a part of this game." She tries to tell him that Bill and Danny are circling the block, and if they don't work together, they're going to be left out in the cold. And it's just like, Andre is just like, "No, I'm not, they not, and you need to worry about your own home." And it's just like, she low key not lying, but I get where he's coming from, because man, work on your own home. Like, that's your insecurity talking. Like, you mad that you think that what you did to her, she's doing back to you, which low key she is, but at the same time, you deserve it. I wish that she wasn't, because Bill is trash, but you deserve it because you, in fact, broke up her marriage. You were part, I'm not going to say you broke up her marriage, but you were part of the reason, one of the reasons why her marriage ended and her family broke apart. So you're going to have to eat that. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to eat that. Whatever happens, happens at this point. So we get to Bill and Danny, and they're at the club, and he's talking about, "You wore this dress from me," and da 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 da, all this other stuff. And Vanessa shows up and was just like, "Boy, your ego is real big, because no, no, sir." And Danny tells him, when I left the club, I hadn't made plans with Vanessa. And we made the plans, went home, got dressed, and came here. I didn't think you would still be lurking. Like, how did I know that you would still be at the club after how many hours has it been since I left? And you still here? Don't you have a wife at home, sir? So, they shut him down. He leaves, and Vanessa is just like, so did you really wear that dress because of him? And Danny admits, like, she low key did, but not really, but she low key did. And it's just like, girl, why even? But I digress. So they're getting ready, Danny asked Vanessa how things are going or whatever, and they're getting ready to do their little girls' night. And then Andre texts and lets her know that he's in town. And so um what's her name? Vanessa tells her to go. So she leaves to go home to meet up with Andre. And let me get this out the way because y'all know I like to forget these Vanessa and Joey scenes. So we see Joey, he's at the casino. Lance comes over because Joey had invited him and invited him to have a private room with a no limit table or whatever. So Lance is there, he's excited, he's drinking his drink, he's um playing a game. He's talking about Vanessa, and he says some out of pocket stuff. He says some stuff about Vanessa running the escort service or whatever, and then he says, Doug is turning over in his grave, and Joey snatch him up, and is like, bruh, you didn't had enough. You didn't put your hands on my woman. You talking out the side of your neck. You about to get this, and I'm gonna need you to keep my woman's name out your mouth and stay clear away from her, or we gonna have some problems. So he threatens him, and then he punches him. Oh boy runs off. It was just like, okay, what was this? But anyways, so Vanessa is still at the club, and she sees Lance's wife, Lolly, something like that. She sees her, and she tells her, basically tells her what happens, and how Lance is like tripping and all this other stuff. And so the wife Lolly tells her that Lance has a temper, and she's sorry that he went off on her or whatever. So Vanessa asks, has he ever put his hands on you? And Lolly is just like, no, he would never. He wasn't raised to put his hand on a woman. And Vanessa is just like, that's what you think. So they go sit down, and she tells her how he done snatched her up, and she probably showed her the bruise. And so the woman, Lolly, is just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't think he would do something like this. He's never done this before. Da 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 da. So Vanessa was just like, just because you make money don't mean that you can't be a psychopath just because you write checks to all these endeavors and all this other stuff. And so she tells her, what would the community think if they found out that your husband put his hands on me and da 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 all this other stuff? And it's just like, girl, what would the community? Well, shoot, they already know you running the escort service, so yeah, you could threaten her with that. So she took that seriously. So Lance walks in, and he goes to the bar, and so what's this girl's name? Lolly goes up to her she goes to her husband and was just like, um why would you put your hands on her, and she's threatening to sue us and da 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 all this other stuff. And he turns and he sees Vanessa, and then he just runs out or whatever. And Vanessa's, she's happy about it or whatever. So she goes to see Joey, and Joey's just like, oh my, I thought you were having a girls' night, this is a nice surprise. And she tells him, Danny had to go, blah 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 blah. So they start talking about running the business, and he's just like, if I had known this was going to happen, I never would have gave it to you. She's trying to like basically keep her job or whatever. And then she tells him that, that she told the wife that she's not going to press charges, so that should keep him at bay. And that'll keep him at bay, and he knows better now. And she hopes that Joey didn't do anything because he promised that he wouldn't. Joey doesn't say anything. Then he's just like, how do you know that he knows better? And she was just like, yeah, because when I told her that I wasn't going to press charges. I was there when she told him about the news, and when he saw me, he just ran off. And so she's thinking like, yeah, that was me, and now he afraid, and da 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 da. And it's just like, yeah, okay, ma'am. like I said, I don't. This story, this story, I don't get it, because again, it started off one way and now it's this way, and it's just like, are you still doing your money laundering through her? Like, did you really fall for her, Joey? That now it's like, okay, you saying that if anything were to happen to her, you don't know what you would do, but it's just like you have her running your escort business, which is low key. Like, if they really do their due diligence, they can hook her up on something, because that's low key extortion. I mean, not extortion, that's illegal. Then you doing the money laundering through her real estate, and it's just like, that's another thing that she could go to jail for. So it's just like, do you really care for this woman like you say you do, or is this a whole act that you're doing? And then I want to know what she's gonna do when she finds out that this man is the reason why her husband is no longer here, because it's like, it looks like you are really falling hard for this man. So I'm just trying to figure out where we're going with this, because I don't think it's gonna be good. So we see Chelsea and Madison. They're finally meeting up after Chelsea doing her little, doing the little stuff that she did when they went to the club the other day, or a couple days ago, or whatever. So they're discussing it, and they're like, Chelsea is basically saying, like, the way that she used to live, she was always being controlled, and this and that. So she like let loose, and she may have let loose too far, but she's been under a lot of stress with everything that's happened with her, with what's going on with her what's going on with her mom, what could have been going on with her being kidnapped. It's just a lot. And so she just wanted to let loose. Madison wants to know if was this a one-time thing, and Chelsea can't say yes or no. And it's just like, ma'am, what you mean? You don't know if this is a one-time thing? Like, it should be. Like, what is we doing, Chelsea? Like, what are we doing, girl? So Chelsea basically tells her, I feel like, I feel like you're mothering me. And so Madison is just like, we're changing. We're not the same people that we were when we first met and fell in love. Now you feel like I'm mothering you, and you feel judged. And when I see you, I feel like something that she said, because of everything that happened with her mother. And you basically don't respect, like, not that you don't respect me, but what you're doing is not conducive to what I need or whatever. And so Chelsea is just like, figure it out, not figure it out, but she's just like, I want to make this work. Let's figure it out. Da 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 da. Madison is just like, I love you enough to walk away if that's what you need. Chelsea's just like, no, I don't want that. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to build a life with you. And Madison is just like, wait, did you just propose? And Chelsea is just like, yeah. And so Madison is thinking, you're doing this. You're just doing this because you're not deflecting. I forgot what she said, but it's just basically, you're just trying to put a band-aid. You're trying to put a band-aid over the issue. That's basically semi sort of what she tried to say. I forgot what she said, but she said something. And Chelsea was just like, no, so you think that me doing this is just to do this? And Madison is just like, yeah, and no, I can't marry you. So she leaves, and Chelsea breaks down and cries. So we see Kat and Tomas, they're at the club. I mean, yeah, they're at the club and they see Nicole, and Tomas is just like, damn, she fine. I see where you get it from. And Kat's just like, sir, you can't say that. And it's just like, sir, you cannot say that to her after you slept with her sister. You can't give my mama no compliments. How do I know you're not gonna try to get with her too? So no, you can't say my mama fine. Stop it. So she, Kat's not happy with her mom in this dress. She sees Kyle pull up and she's just like, wait a minute now. My mama, what is this? Who is this? Where did he come from? Tomas is just like, I think that's who she went to Winterfest with. So Kat looks him up and she finds out he's a surgeon or whatever. Um, and she tries to go over there and interrupt their conversation. Tomas stops her and she's just like, she feels like her mom is changing right before her eyes. This is a stressor. My mom went through a divorce. She's going through her mom having the big C, her sister having the BRCA gene. It's just so much that's happening, and she feels like this is a stress response. And Tomas is just like, "Are you sure you're talking about your mom, or are you talking about yourself?" And she was just like, "Yeah, I could be talking about me too, but I have." I'm still standing, and what did she say? She said, I'm still standing, and it's because of the one constant in my life, and that's you, my rock, and the kiss or whatever. And it's just like, oh, oh my God. I need them to either recast this man or break them up, because this relationship, although I will say they are semi sort of writing him better so that he is actually listening to her, and that's why I don't like it, because it's just like he is the only person listening to her, and it's just like I need her to know that there are other people in her corner, but at this moment she does not have other people in her corner, and it's just like, ugh. And then also, one of the things that she was saying about her mom and how her mom is different and she doesn't recognize a person in front of her. And it's just like, I can see that because, again, from what we saw on the show, I feel like Nicole really did change. She changed towards her daughter after the anniversary, and it's like they haven't said it, but how I interpreted it was she started looking at her miracle baby as the reason why her husband stayed with her when he should have left her back then, when he cheated on her. Because again, he cheated on her with Leslie, and because Nicole was pregnant is why he broke it off with Leslie. So maybe in Nicole's mind, she's thinking, if I was never pregnant with Kat, then he would have left me. So I feel like she blames Kat, because there's no way that my child, that I would, if I was in Nicole's situation, if my child is coming to me about some stuff that her dad's outside baby came to her about or did to her, I would not take up for that outside baby, because that is not my child, and you did my child dirty. So no, I would not take up for the outside baby. I would not say that the outside baby is a good person or a nice person, or belittle you and make you feel like, oh, maybe your relationship was in a bad place and that's why he cheated on you with the outside baby, which happens to be your sister. I would not do that to my child, especially if that said child is the one who held me when I broke down after I found out about the outside baby. No. But Nicole has been, ever since the anniversary, she has always taken Eva's side. And it's just like, you've only known Eva for a couple of months. And it's like, you like, and this is what gets me. I know I'm about to go off on a tangent about something completely different, but this is what gets me. people keep saying that Eva is a victim and she was raised by Leslie and it's not her fault that she's X, Y, and Z and all this other stuff. But it's like she was raised by Leslie, and Leslie is the one that is wrecking havoc on your life, or she wreaked havoc on your life. If she raised that child, you don't think that child is just like their mother? You don't think that child is going to exhibit any of her characteristics? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like that was the child that she raised. So if she's Looney Tunes, you don't think her child may be low-key Looney Tunes as well because that's who raised her? I mean, I don't get it, but yeah. But anyways, so Kat is enamored by Tomas because he's her rock, whatever. Ugh. He's really her op, but well, yeah, whatever. So we see what's her name? Nicole is at the bar and she's getting a drink from the bartender. Then the bartender asks, is just like, what is this fine specimen doing by herself at the bar? And Kyle comes up and just like she's not alone. They start to talk to get to know each other. Nicole talks about how her growing up and how she felt like she had to be Miss Perfect her whole life, and with everything that happened now she wants to change and broaden her horizons and be different and not be so perfect. They talk about Carlton, and Kyle is just like he's okay with competition. He up for the part basically. Oh Lord. But they were not a lot happened in their scene. It was good, like, hearing again Nicole talking about how she felt like she had to be a certain way because her sister was a certain way, and she had to be that part and all this other stuff. And now that her life has blown up, she can actually maybe be who she really wants to be or who she should have been, or she wants to maybe try to be Danny for a couple of months or something until she gets her bearings together. So it's good that Nicole is, doing these things. But I also understand where Kat is coming from, because it's just like, yeah, you grew up knowing your mom as this straight laced person. So yes, now that you see your mama in a cut out dress showing all her goody, not her goodies, but her goodness, of course you don't know who this person is in front of you, because you're used to buttoned up psychiatrist Nicole. You're not used to, I'm gonna let my freak flag fly, Nicole. And you're gonna have to get used to it. I'm sorry, Kat. You're gonna have to get used to it. If your daddy can date, your mama can date too. And your daddy done slept with two other women since they broke up. Let your mama get another let your mama get somebody else under her belt besides Carlton. She gonna need a McDreamy, a McSteamy, a McEverything. She needs that because Ted has been out here dipping and doing it, and Nicole has only been with Ted, and that ain't right. I'm just saying. So we see Danny. She gets home, and Andre is there in his nice little silk satin nightie. He has the champagne and wine or whatever out for Danny. He surprises her. She's excited. They talk about how much they miss each other and all this other stuff. And they go upstairs and they go have fun or whatever. So we then see Hayley, because when she was still at the coffee shop, she had texted Bill that she had a surprise for him. And when we see Bill get the text message, he like whoop, like he reads it and then whoops, and he goes back to looking at a picture of him and Danny on their wedding day, and he has a flashback to him apologizing to Danny for what he did, like, to her. I think this was, I can't remember when. I don't know if this was before. I don't know if this was before. I don't know if this was before the kidnapping, or I think it was before the kidnapping. I can't remember, but he had apologized to her or whatever for leaving her basically or whatever and destroying the family. So he apologized. He flashes back to that. Then we come back to the scene and he's caressing Danny's face in the picture. So then Hayley comes home and she's in her, in her 90 that she had just bought. And she was just like, come here, big daddy. I can't wait to. She's just like touching all up on him. And then he starts to snore. And she's just like, what? What? And so she was like, I can't believe this. And then she turns over and just like huffs and puffs and turns off the light. And then he opens his eyes. And I was just like, not this man. Fake sleeping so he don't have to sleep with you. Girl, it's already starting. It ain't even been a year since y'all been married and this man is already fake sleeping on you. While you worried about you worried about Danny spinning the block with this man. He trying to spin the block with her and she's still getting her back broke by her husband. You can't even get that. Because this man is caressing her face. Danny may be acting like a bird going up there kissing him, but she ain't looking at photos of him. Well, she was before she got married to Andre, but she ain't doing that right now. She's still kissing him, but But yeah, your man ain't even trying to sleep with you. Hayley. Girl, that poison ain't working fast enough. And that is another thing. I don't get it because it's just like, if you're trying to poison this man, why are you still like, you doing a lot to make it seem like you really want him. And it's just like, are you doing this so that he doesn't go back to Danny? Or are you doing this because you do really like him? But then again, it's just like you're trying to poison him. So it's like, I don't get it. But yeah, so that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. And get down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one.